I buy you a drink?
Oh, it's not a still. We can do it.
Right. Can I buy you one?
How old is he? 39. A friend of mine's still playing. He's going to be 40 this June.
Rose and I.
What about a historian who lived in turn-of-the-century Hungary? You could also put on stage me gobbling shrimp.
Very good.
Here you go. We wanted you to be sure to get one. They're going fast. Oh, and there's
Well,
also
it's up to each individual to decide whether he or she...
We're not eating it. What is it?
Don't going around. She got taller, didn't she? Taller since last year. She goes to the University of Virginia.
Let's get away from We got a lot.
You're wondering why I look like an idiot. My neck is screwed.
I would have never noticed. No, you better stop saying that. When you saw me the last time, good company. That's right. I just know.
Dr. Banks. And he kept talking about it and talking about it. Every morning, Carolyn and I had to listen to what he didn't want. And what he did want was just to have a drink and a handshake with my friends in my office. And he said he never wanted any formal dinner or long speeches. So we decided that we would try to honor as much of Dr. Banks's requests as we possibly could. We hope that all of you can get to shake his hand today. His office isn't big enough, and that's why we're out here. And we hope all of you can have a drink with him. But we're not going to let him have a drink with each of you, or his retirement will be very, very early. So with that, I would like to propose a toast to Dr. Banks. This toast is not mine. It's one written by Dr. Phil Wheaton, President Emeritus of Middlesex Community College. He sent this to be put into the book we're going to give Dr. Banks later, and I think it's very appropriate. To the one and only, the Honorable Arthur C. Banks, Jr., first President of Greater Hartford Community College. To you was given the rare privilege and the high honor of giving birth to one of the nation's colleges, and of creating that leadership required to keep it alive during those arduous times of the late 60s and 70s, and to establish it permanently as an exciting, quality institution of learning that has done so much to serve so many in the state of Connecticut. The college survived, and so did you. Marvelous on both counts. Dr. Banks, to you. Cheers. I would now like to read a letter that came in this morning's mail. It says, Dear Arthur, congratulations and best wishes on your retirement as president of Greater Hartford Community College. I regret that my schedule prevents me from joining you as you are being honored today. When you started in 1967, Greater Hartford Community College was nothing more than an idea. Under your leadership, that idea has been transformed into what Greater Hartford Community College is today, an academically competitive and culturally diverse center of educational opportunity for thousands of students from central Connecticut. You should take pride in that achievement, as all of Connecticut can take pride in Greater Hartford Community College. Along with your achievements at educational institutions around the country, you also have distinguished yourself as a community leader. Your work has for a wide variety of organizations involved in the arts, healthcare, economic development, and other activities has been of great service to the Hartford area. Although you are retiring from day-to-day duties at the college, I know you will continue this tradition of education and service. Thank you for that service, and best of luck in the future. Sincerely, Chris. This is from Christopher J. Dodd, Senator, State of Connecticut. I would now like to call on our Secretary of State, Mrs. Tashin, to bring us a message from Governor O'Neill.
Dr. Banks, before I read the message from Governor O'Neill, I want to say a few words on my behalf. I want to thank you for the time and effort you put into this college to build it to what it is today. Because if it weren't for Hartford Community College, I wouldn't have any college education whatsoever. I was fortunate enough to be a student here, and I found that the quality of teachers that teach at this college are, I mean, you can't beat them. They are absolutely tops. And I think that I can tell them they can all take the credit for getting me to the Secretary of the State's office. It is a great honor and a distinct privilege for me to join with all who have gathered today to honor Dr. Arthur Banks and wish him well on the occasion of his retirement. The people of Connecticut are proud of the wide range of excellent educational opportunities available to our residents. Our community colleges, which have just celebrated 20 years of outstanding achievement and service, are an important and integral part of our educational system. Since 1967, Greater Hartford Community College has grown in enrollment from 387 to 3,500 students and has moved from its original home on Sequassin Street to this beautiful facility on Woodland Street. Overseer to its tremendous growth and guide to its development into a highly respected institution of higher education has been the man we honor today. Dr. Banks was the founding president of Greater Hartford Community College, and he has devoted his time, energy, and expertise to establish a record of excellence and integrity for himself and for the school which he has served with such great distinction. On behalf of the people of Connecticut, it is my pleasure to commend Dr. Banks on an outstanding job and to thank him for helping make our state a better place in which to live. We are indeed grateful for his many years of devoted service. As he leaves this position, I know that he will be sorely missed by his many friends and by all who have come to rely on his wisdom and experience. Although I cannot be here today, it is my hope that Dr. Banks will enjoy this well-deserved recognition from his many friends and colleagues, and that the years ahead will bring to him and his family new challenge, reward, and contentment. William A. O'Neill, Governor.
I'd like to call on Gary Ring to bring greetings from the state legislature.
Simple little affair. On behalf of Senator William DiBella and Representative Felix Karski, I'd like to present to Dr. Banks a citation that has been issued by the Hartford delegation and the Connecticut General Assembly. It reads as follows: Be it hereby known to all that the Connecticut General Assembly herein offers its sincerest congratulations to Dr. Arthur C. Banks, Jr. in recognition of his retirement as founding president of the Greater Hartford Community College, where he served from June 1967 up to the present. The entire membership extends its very best wishes on this memorable occasion. Dr. Banks. Several members of the legislature spoke to me in the last 2 days and offered their own messages, and I'd like to read one of those messages to you from a former student. Dear Dr. Banks, congratulations on your retirement as president of Greater Hartford Community College. Your wisdom and leadership has guided this fine institution from its early inception to its present status as an outstanding center for higher education in Connecticut. You are to be congratulated for your service to the Greater Hartford area and to the field of higher education. We are all in your debt for the guidance you have given to the many young people of our state. May you have continued success in whatever endeavor you undertake, and many years of happiness. Best personal regards, Frank Barrows, 2nd Senatorial District. Dr. Banks. Several other representatives asked that I extend their best wishes to you. Representative Carrie Perry, Representative Tom Ritter. Representative Perry told me that she is so indebted to you because it was due to your objective advice that despite the fact that your protege, Isaiah Matthews, was running for the General Assembly, that you told her that as a member of the community, she had every right to run for state representative. And she did, and she beat your protege, Isaiah Matthews. And for that, she owes you her eternal gratitude.
Isaiah, you'll get your innings in a little later. Now we'd like to take a look at the presidency, the bank's presidency. We'd like to take a look at it from a number of perspectives. From a faculty perspective, from a student perspective, an administrative, and so forth. I'd like to start with a faculty perspective, and I'd like to call on John Pasdar. John Pasdar is not the oldest faculty member as far as age is concerned at Greater Hartford Community College, but in time of service, he joined this college in the first year of its existence. So if there's anyone who can take a look at Dr. Banks's presidency from a faculty perspective, I think it's John. John?
Dr. Banks, Mrs. Banks, family. We started this college 18 years ago, and we were both young at the time. He hasn't changed one bit. I've gained 18 pounds. I have gray hair. I have a receding hairline. And I now wear glasses. You've never seen these, have you? Dr. Banks, I'd like to read a portion from a couple of letters that were sent from former faculty members, and I think that they capture the spirit and the feelings of the faculty. To the old-fashioned virtues of work, help, and generosity of spirit, he encouraged. Our college president added his ruling philosophy, life a refrain, quality of education, beat upon the consciousness of the college family and shaped its development. This was from Marjorie Rundle, Emeritus Professor of English, and she phoned this in from Oxford, England. This second letter addressed Dr. Banks, founding president. Dear Dr. Banks, how very sad to think of your retirement from Greater Hartford, yet how enriching your presence has been to that lovely woodland street building full of learning, laughter, and growth. Not a day has passed since the moving to Florida during which I do not think of you and my former colleagues. And the Carriage House, our laboratory school, where your youngest generation of children solidly, happily, productively showed early learning experiences do make a difference. You made learning to be a teacher reality based for our education majors, and that has made all of the difference. When I think about you, when I think about myself, I am reminded of something a 5-year-old wrote to me on a piece of her artwork, and I quote, "Once I planted a seed that never stopped growing," unquote. You have done that for each of us. In turn, we continue to do that for each life we touch. Many thanks and warmest wishes, Judy Livornia, EDD. Dr. Banks, for 18 years, thank you very much.
And now we'll hear from the protege, Isaiah Matthews. And he will tell us what it was like to be a student here at Greater Hartford Community College.
Thank you, Dean Markowitz. Dr. Banks, just a side though, it's really interesting. People might not know it, but that campaign we lost back in 1980 was the first and only one we ever lost, and we lost it by approximately 15 votes. And now I realize one of the reasons we lost it by 15 votes is that many people were playing both sides, Dr. Banks. But you live and learn, and sometimes you learn old lessons late. I'm honored to be here today. Many people may not realize it. I'm sure many of the faculty members certainly will remember, but rightly or wrongly, I got my start here at Greater Hartford Community College. I think some of the people in the city of Hartford wish I had never started, but certainly I got my start here. I dropped out of high school And when I was 16, I went in the Marine Corps for a number of years, and then left the Marine Corps and tried for about 5, 6, 7, 8 years to get into school. Could never get in. Finally, I heard about Greater Hartford Community College, and I remember my first contact with Dr. Banks. I happened to stumble into the hallway looking for the counseling office, and I saw this big guy bouncing down the hall. You all know how he walked, you know, just kind of bouncing down the hallway. Had half a cigar in his mouth, and I asked him where was the counseling office. He pointed me in the right direction. Needless to say, at the time, Tony may not remember, Tony Viviano, but he was my counselor, and I indicated to him that I wanted an opportunity to go to school. I thought I could do the work, and he looked me dead in the eye and said, "When can you start?" And I'll never forget those words as long as I live. Oh, you remember, Tony? I'm surprised you're still here. But at any rate, as many of you know, I left here and went on to Wesleyan University and got a scholarship and went on to Cornell Law School, and now I'm working with United Technologies Corporation as an attorney and also a member of the City Council. And I'm saying all that to say that in my mind, it's hard to think about Greater Hartford Community College without thinking about Dr. Banks. I think some people often say to me that for many Americans, when they think about the presidency of the United States, they think about FDR. He was president for so long and meant so much to so many people. And I think for many students, present students and past students, when we think of Greater Hartford Community College, we automatically think of Dr. Banks. And there's only one president for us, and that always will be Dr. Banks. So in a way, it may be fitting that, and no disrespect meant, Dean, that it may be fitting that we may not, in fact, have another president, given the new reorganization they're thinking about, because certainly there can only be one president. And for me, that president would be Dr. Banks. I just want to go on to say, a young lady asked me a few minutes ago, what did Dr. Banks mean to me, and what did Greater Hartford mean? And again, it's hard for me to think about Greater Hartford Community College and Dr. Banks separately. It's such a part of this community. And the first thing that jumped in my mind after I responded very poorly to her question was beacon, and a ray of light, a ray of sunshine. And it may be hard for those of you who are educators and perhaps made it through the system, taking the right step, going to college, going through graduate school, and never really missing the beat to appreciate the dilemma and the frustrations that many young people feel, who really feel they have something pinned up inside them, some talent, some energy that they really want to do something with, and they can't find the opportunity. This school has meant opportunity for so many people, and Dr. Banks really played the role in giving many people the opportunity. As Dean Marker was indicated earlier, in the 1960s and 1970s, it was really easy to just have a school that was committed to education, but not quality education. And many students could have been cheated, but Dr. Banks held firm. And I remember many community leaders from all kind of different communities, ethnic groups, coming in and saying, look, your standards are too tough. Our students are flunking out. And Dr. Banks maintained that high standard. The teachers, the instructors, the professors in the school maintained that high standard. And it made a difference. And I want to tell you a little story because I think it's really typical of what happened. Because Dr. Banks fought hard for a quality education for all students at Greater Hartford, because he realized for many of us, this is our dream. And we wanted the opportunity to fulfill our dream. And had you professors, had Dr. Banks not made us work and not really committed this institution to quality education, somewhere down the road, we would have failed. And just as an example, I can recall when I left this school and I went over to Wesleyan University, a little school down the road, not quite as big as this place, Dr. Banks. And my first class was with a professor who happened to teach ancient history. And he found out about 2 or 3 days in the course that I was from the community college. And I recall this so vividly. He walked over to me and said, look, I understand you're from a community college, and I want you to know I'm very supportive. And he sounded like he was very sympathetic, but he said, I'm very supportive, and I want you to know if I go too fast for you, if anything like that happen, you let me know, and after class, I'll explain everything to you privately. And being a new person on the block, I didn't want to bust his bubble, so I said, thank you, I appreciate that. Well, to make a long story short, if grade is an indication, I got an A+ in that course. And I'm saying that, and I'm saying this to point out a fact. 2 or 3 months later, a young person walked over to me after I had finished doing some kind of a response in a particular class, and he said to me, "Gee, you always seem to be on top of all these issues. What prep school do you go to?" And I said, "GACC." He said, "GACC?" He said, "I never heard of that school." And I said, "It's a little small school in Hartford." He said, "That must have been a good school." I said, "It was a very, very good school." And again, I'm saying those things to point out to you that basically when I started at community college, all I had was a high school equivalency diploma. And all the background I ever received to go to a school like Wesleyan and go to a school like Cornell Law School and finish 5th basically came from this school right here. And it came from the commitment that Dr. Banks had to quality education. It came from the commitment that all of you had to quality education. And I don't feel cheated. And I feel proud of the fact that I'm a graduate of Great Hartford Community College. And I want to personally take this opportunity to thank Dr. Banks for his help, and of course his wife, because she was always pushing him, making him commit to that, right, Dr. Banks? And more importantly, because one thing I have learned in politics is that no person can stand alone. There's no one-person team. And Dr. Banks could not have performed the kind of job here at Greater Hartford without people like Dean Markowitz, without people like Rita Silverman and Gary Ream, and all of you professors out there. And I think the people of the city of Hartford owe you a real debt of gratitude. I think the many, many, many thousands of young men and women who come to this system looking for an opportunity, not a handout, just a chance. You have given so many people a chance, myself included. And on behalf of all those people, past and present, I just want to say to Dr. Banks and to each and every one of you, thank you. Thank you very much.
Amen, Charlie. I think it's time, we might almost close the program right now after all of that. I told you, 1 minute, Charlie. Really, it was a beautiful sentiments, Charlie. I'd now like to call on Jerry Marshall, who is retired, who was a registrar at this school for many, many years, to tell us a little bit about Dr. Banks's presidency as he viewed it from an administrator's perspective. Jerry?
What an act to follow. It would be really tough, Charlie, except that I agree with everything you said. When I come up to a microphone like this, I always raise it. It makes me feel taller. Dr. Banks, Ms. Banks, honored guests, and GHCC colleagues, we bring special greetings to you, Dr. Banks, from those of us who have worked for you as administrators. At the outset, let me say, as one old has-been to a still very young-looking soon won't be, this retirement life is great. It's just great. I recommend it. Since retiring, I feel that I've scaled the heights a few thousand feet more, and now I'm looking down at passing events with a new Olympian detachment. Not unconcerned, of course, but not emotionally shackled with every problem that arises and not shouldering every responsibility that the job generates. Now, I'm told that some grandparents view their grandchildren with this same kind of detachment, lovingly, but with some detachment. So it may be, Dr. Banks, that your retirement, your imminent retirement, will transport you from fatherhood of this college to grandfatherhood. And that may be even better. In any event, you're going to forever be a respected member of the immediate GHCC family, Dr. Banks. It may be the administrators who will lose most heavily when you leave here, for it was they who worked most directly with you and saw most clearly the virtues you brought to the job. I don't know, but you had a habit, Dr. Banks, of letting us work freely, giving us our room, our elbow room, and that's a great thing. It has many virtues. One, it lets us use our own judgment more frequently and helps us grow at a faster pace, professionally and personally. Secondly, it It helps us feel that we have made some individual contribution to the success of the college. It makes us feel that individually each of us counts. And Dr. Banks, that's nourishing human dignity, and we thank you for that. Another point that I suppose we should make is your loyalty. I wouldn't attempt to rank your virtues, nor certainly even to list them, but your loyalty to your administrators, to your staff in general, is certainly not the least of your virtues. You had a way of turning us loose. That was great. You gave us no unneeded supervision. But throughout all this, Dr. Banks, you were a caring president. Over the years, there have been tragedies strike several of the members of our college families. There were deaths, there were illnesses, there were bereavements, and your response in these personal crises was not that simply of a college president. It was that of an anxious and caring friend. We thank you for that. In the process of your setting our goals, you had a habit, Dr. Banks, of telling us over and over again that quality is what we must constantly strive for in our work. Quality should be the hallmark of this college. I've heard that said so sincerely and so many times that it's become a part of my thinking, not just words to listen to. Your message reached us all, and it affected us all. And this may best be illustrated in our faculty. One could scarcely hope for better teachers than we have here. They're competent, they're motivated, they're dedicated to helping people learn. If there just were some way of measuring quality in teaching, I should like to put our faculty against any faculty I know anything about. They've heard your message, and it's changed them. But they have put meaning to the word quality. In fact, as quality regards our faculty, it's no longer just a goal, it's a description. There is time, I hope, to speak, 4 minutes? There is time, I hope, to speak about one more of your virtues, Dr. Banks. It's your tenacity, or determination, or perhaps doggedness. I'm not quite sure just what to call it, but I know that it means when you take a firm grip on something, you're not likely to let go just because somebody's pulling on the other end. So this incidentally is a characteristic found elsewhere in very wealthy men and in pit bulldogs. This is not your salient characteristic, Dr. Banks, but as a facet of your personality, it did play a major part in getting this beautiful home for our college. That was your victory. That was your triumph of strategy and organization and strength of will. And we all thank you for all of this. When you retire, Dr. Banks, we're going to miss you in many different ways. For we will have lost not only the head of the college, but a great deal of its heart and strength. We wish you Godspeed, Dr. Banks.
Jerry mentioned heart and strength. The other day, Dr. Banks called me at his office, and he was very, very proud because he had gotten his organ donor's card. And for those of you who are close to Dr. Banks, you know that sometimes he thinks that he really doesn't have a PhD, as an MD. And if you're sick, you know, he'll tell you what to do, when to do it, how to do it, who to see, where to go. And he's really concerned about people at Greater Hartford Community College. He told me one member of his family, he wouldn't tell me which one, didn't think that his organs were worth very much at this stage in his life. I didn't comment about that, but I thought about the number of times I'd gone to dinner with Dr. Banks and a lunch. And I'll tell you, when they serve pasta, it's war. There are no prisoners taken. The man is the #1 trenchman I've ever been with in my life. I don't know about his organs, but Hartford steam boiler has a bit in on his stomach. I can tell you that right now. He does have a love for medicine, and he's spent many hours as a corporator at hospitals and the director of hospitals, and a lot of things in community service that have to do with health. And I'd like John Springer, the CEO, the Chief Executive Officer of Hartford Hospital, to take a look at Dr. Banks' presidency from a community service point of view. John Springer, please.
Thank you very much, Dean Markowitz. In a sense, I work for Arthur and have since I came to town, and I've been waiting for this opportunity for 14 years, Arthur. I want all of you to know, and the faculty and administration, when Dr. Banks is out of the building, usually he's busy doing something in the community. I can't speak for all the times, but he's certainly, in connection with his responsibilities at Hartford Hospital as a member of the board, has done an enormous amount, officially as a board member and also here as the president of Greater Hartford Community College. This morning, I woke up in a motel in Texas and looked at a little brochure, and they said, "You too can be a famous critic." And I thought of what was coming up this afternoon and concluded that really what we need are fewer critics and a lot more outstanding examples, like Arthur Banks. We've got a man here that we're all going to miss, but of course as he steps down from his official responsibilities, the community service projects and all of those of us who are responsible for them are lining up hoping to get more of his time. You were an outstanding example, Arthur, for your board participation at Hartford Hospital. He was always available to me and to my predecessor, Stuart Hamilton. Exceptionally diligent, served well on a number of committees and very important ones like the nominating committee, chaired the educational policies committee, was secretary of the corporation for about 5 years, and sat on numerous occasions with the executive committee of the board. And Berth, I want you to know that he would always dutifully ask the rest of the members of the board if they would mind if he smoked a cigar. No one ever dared say they would not want him to smoke a cigar. When I was a newcomer, Dr. Banks, then also somewhat new on the board of Hartford Hospital, provided some outstanding support to me, and consistently he has been diligent, a great helper, and I think the most outstanding hospital contribution and community contribution was as Hartford Hospital's School of Nursing phased out after 99 years of service in the community. Its last class graduated in 1976, and because of the preparation and support of Dr. Banks and his faculty, and Jean Bowen and her faculty, we were able to pick up right the next year in 1977 with the first class graduating in nursing from here. Also, in addition to his other many responsibilities in the community, I have a couple of tributes here to read. One from DeRoy C. Thomas, Pete Thomas, who's chairman and CEO at the Hartford Insurance Group, also chairman of the executive committee of the board at Hartford Hospital. And this is entitled A Tribute to Arthur C. Banks, Jr. Few men and women I have met in public life have offered more of themselves to their community than has Arthur Banks, Jr. As chairman of the Governor's Commission on Higher Education and the Economy in 1981, I had the opportunity to meet and work with top educational administrators from across Connecticut. In Arthur Banks, I found a sophisticated, sincere, dedicated college leader with a fierce commitment to the community college system and philosophy. As a consultant to that commission, he was both a wise and objective source of information and analysis, as well as an important advocate for the concerns of his particular student body. The work of the commission is far better for having the contribution of Arthur Banks. Just as he demanded the best of the commission, I am impressed by the high standards he sets for his students and faculty. His commitment to excellence is evident not only in his own work, but also in what he requires of others, signed DeRoy C. Thomas. Also, a letter from Paul Taff, who, as president and general manager of CP Public Television, dear Arthur, my very best to you as you start a much-deserved retirement. We were asked if we had any Arthur Banks anecdotes. The one that always comes to mind is the time that you, as a CPTV auctioneer, here it comes, did an excellent job in raising the bidding on a beautiful cut glass bowl. Then when you announced the winning bid, handed to you with astonishment, you said, and the lucky winner is, gulp, Mrs. Arthur Banks. Sorry I can't be with you on May 16th. I will be attending what perhaps is my last national public television meeting. Many, many thanks for your support over the years. I deeply appreciated it. Hope you can still meet and talk with me. I'd like that. Sincerely, Paul Taft. I think of the attributes that I think of Arthur, one of his strong points is his humor. He gets absolutely an A+. I was a little tentative when I first met Arthur because these college presidents are a close-knit group, and I was afraid that he'd write the college president where I went and get my transcript. One of his great admonishments when I was describing a particular management problem was that he reminded me that a lot of people operate under the theory of never let a favor go unpunished. I'll never forget that, Arthur. That's a great bit of information and advice. I think he's really figured it out. In many ways, he has a superb balance in his life between his work, his family, and his community service. He's also figured out that respect for others begets respect. And incidentally, he's serving in another capacity at Hartford Hospital on an HMO board called Connecticut. He's one of 6 people that are subscriber directors, and we had an election, and he got more votes than anyone else. So I think maybe from here you ought to go to the Senate, Arthur. Congratulations and best from everybody from Hartford Hospital.
Thank you, John. And now, the moment of truth. We have to get you evaluated by your peers, one of your colleagues, and by the director of the Regional Community College System. First, we will let a colleague look at the perspective of the bank's presidency. Regina Duffy, president of Greater Hartford Community College. We said that so many times. Northwestern Community College. Regina is also retiring this year. Regina, I know, is a friend and a confidant of Dr. Banks.
Thank you, Walter. Arthur and Bertha, and you must remember I'm always on Bertha's side. If you've seen that Bertha has a mink coat, a mink stole, or a mink shawl, I did it. I have learned a few things about Arthur today that I didn't know before, and I think that I should share with you. If you think he is politically astute, he learned that in the same city that I did, Jersey City. We are native, at least we spent our time in Jersey City at in the same neighborhood. The reason he is probably so interested in medicine is that his father was a pharmacist, and probably Arthur stood behind listening to what was going on. I was asked today to read 2 letters from 2 college presidents, one of whom is here, and I can only suppose that I was asked to do that for the one who is here because it's known that I'm a non-drinker, and perhaps he wouldn't be in condition to do it. There is no other explanation for reading someone else's letter. So here we go. This is, what else, Walter, would I be doing it for? Dear Mr. Chiamonti, the retirement of my friend and colleague Arthur C. Banks, Jr. marks the end of a truly exciting and pioneering era for the community college system. I was present at Dr. Banks' inauguration in a beautiful church in Hartford and recall how impressed I was with this newest addition to our presidential ranks. The late Dr. Benjamin Mays, then president of Morehouse College in Atlanta, gave an inspiring inaugural address, and Dr. Banks set the tone for his administration at Greater Hartford Community College during his remarks when he said, "I did not leave a first-rate college in the South to preside over a second-rate institution in New England. When I think of Arthur Banks and the Greater Hartford Community College, I always think of quality." New England was fortunate in having been blessed with Arthur and Bertha for the past 2 decades. May they both enjoy good health and happiness during this new and more relaxed phase of their lives. Sincerely, Edward J. Liston, President of the Community College of Rhode Island. Ed. Ed was good to Arthur. When he heard I was president, he said, "There goes the college." which tells you how much of a feminist he was. This other letter is, Dear Arthur, I'm terribly sorry that I will be out of town on May 16th, but I do want to extend warmest good wishes to you on your retirement. Your good sense and constant devotion to the highest academic standards have helped make Greater Hartford Community College the splendid institution it is. You will be sorely missed, both here and in the wider world of higher education as well. I hope you and Bertha have many happy and creative years together you so richly deserve in retirement. Cordially yours, Jim F. English, Trinity College. Arthur? Now I'll tell the truth about Arthur, all right? When I joined the community college presidents, I was not very much impressed with them, and they were hardly impressed with me. But Arthur deigned to speak to me, and after a while he asked me where I was from, and I said New Jersey. And he said to me, I'm from New Jersey. Where are you from in New Jersey? I said, Jersey City and Englewood. So he said, do you go to Lincoln High School in Jersey City? I said, no, I taught in Lincoln High School in Jersey City. Now that's upmanship if you're from New Jersey, because Lincoln High School was the best school. So he played it, I played it back. So then he said to me, what parish did you live in Jersey City? That was very important. It was almost important as what ward you lived in. So I said, St. Patrick's. I said, but I went to Christ the King Church. Christ the King Church was a black church in St. Patrick's Parish. So anyhow, Arthur said to me, I never remember seeing you there. I was an altar boy. I said, I never remember seeing you either. So about a year passed, and Arthur called me up one day and he said, say, when I was the altar boy and you were the parishioner, who was the pastor? I said, Father Shevlin. A long silence. Then I said, Arthur, do I pass? He said, yes. About 3 years later, in those moments of reverie where your mind is off someplace else, it dawned on me when Father Shevlin was the pastor, and Arthur was the altar boy, and I was the parishioner in the black church, there was a curate. So I immediately called up Arthur and said, Arthur, when you were the altar boy and I was the parishioner and Father Shevlin was the pastor, who was the curate? He didn't know. It was Father Callahan, and he failed. So Arthur and I, on that basis, have been very good friends. We lived in the same neighborhood. We turned out we went sleigh riding on the same hill in Jersey City, Carteret, down Carteret. And I went to his father's pharmacy in all probability. And I think that Arthur and I are such opportunists that if either one of us thought it would do us any good, we went down on the same sled together. So right now, Arthur, we're on the same sled. Excuse me, Arthur, Bertha wants a diamond.
Bertha just said, who are they talking about, Arthur? And now I'd like to introduce the Executive Director of the Regional Community Colleges, Andy McCurdy. Andy, please.
Thank you, Walter. Ladies and gentlemen, and most especially Arthur Banks, on behalf of the trustees of Connecticut's community colleges and all of your colleagues, Arthur, from throughout the system, I have the honor to bring you greetings and very warm wishes as you prepare to conclude your active service as founding president of Greater Hartford Community College. And I also have the pleasure to bring you greetings from another denizen of the third floor at 61 Woodland Street who has the following message. Dear Arthur, you have made a decision to pass your torch of leadership to another. Yours is a bright torch and one which should continue to light the way for students who seek an opportunity to learn, to enrich their lives through Greater Hartford Community College. Your vision, your goals, and your dedication have played a large part in the fact that this college is a reality today and that it occupies such an important role in this city and in this community. I'm personally appreciative of the many courtesies you have extended me. You have given freely and generously of your time, your counsel, and your service to promote the goals of your college and those of higher education in Connecticut. It has been a pleasure and a privilege to work with you. My warm wishes are with you for a happy and enjoyable retirement era. Sincerely, Norma Foreman Glasgow, Commissioner of Higher Education. certainly we can all join with those very, very thoughtful observations and comments of the Commissioner. This system is now in the process of recognizing its 20th anniversary, and during most of those 2 decades of service to the state, Arthur, you've been a key leader in the development not only of a strong and responsive community college in this region, but in helping to shape the development of the system as a whole and its mission of educational opportunities to the citizens of this state. It's been said that one of the central functions of a leader is to affirm values, to assert what an enterprise can be at its best. And you have consistently asserted the values of quality education and of strong across-the-board academic programs for all students, programs which, as you stated in your inaugural address 17 years ago, prepare students for the security of regular, fruitful employment and for the security and dignity that comes from testing and developing the human mind. And you've consistently cautioned us against becoming more concerned with the structure of information than with the substance of knowledge, lest we risk, as you're fond of suggesting, the dangers of producing a society of barbarians in Brooks Brothers suits. You've led in the development of an educational institution which is vital and vigorous today because it has remained confident of its values of quality and excellence while at the same time being adaptable to the changing needs of our society. As Homer Babbage once observed, the paths of history are strewn with the brittle remains of institutions whose values were thought to require no retranslation. And on the other hand, the footings of modern society are mushy with organizations that think that responsiveness without a set of values is sufficient for survival. The institutions that survive in a meaningful way are those that value both the timeless and the timely. And this will be a large part of the legacy you leave Greater Hartford Community College and leave all of us as you depart for new opportunities and the new adventure of retirement. And as you do so, I want to join with others in thanking you for all that you've contributed in 18 years to the cause we share, and in wishing you and Mrs. Banks our very good wishes, that you may tread the road ahead in good health, good spirits, good humor, good sense, and good luck.
Thank you, Andy. At this time, I'd like to express personal thanks to people who have contributed to make this the affair that I think it is and that you think it is. A class affair. Arthur Banks would have no other. And I would like to thank Tilcon Tomaso, Alan Schaefer, Hartford Insurance Group, and Hartford Distributors for making a generous contribution to this event. And now I would like to get to the part of this particular program, presentation of some gifts. The Student Senate. Connie Carter, would you please come up and make your presentation?
Dr. Banks, in appreciation of your dedicated service and in honor of your retirement, the GHCC Student Senate is proud to present to you a gift certificate for $200 for the Metropolitan Opera 1985-1986 season. This coming season will offer a variety and will include Carmen with Placido Domingo and Aida with Luciano Pavarotti. We wish you a full and healthy retirement and sincerely hope that you will enjoy the 1985-1986 season at the Met. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Connie. The Hungarian Club of Connecticut. Its president, Paul Sabo, has a gift for you, Dr. Banks. Paul?
It was a very inappropriate time to have liver and bacon, but I get caught with it. Just a moment. Dr. Banks and honored guests, As a Hungarian community, we appreciated your help. And just to show our appreciation, we brought some Hungarian folk arts. The history of this is too long, and you will have to talk to our John Dacey to explain all of this. He's a historian. I'm not so much into that. Good luck and have lots of happiness in the house.
Also from the Hungarian Club is the founding president, Joseph Senadi. Joseph?
Dr. Banks, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I arrived over 3 decades ago to the Promised Land as a refugee from behind the Iron Curtain. We were blessed with 7 sons, 7 American citizens. 4 came right to Dr. Banks. And we didn't learn from second-hand how he ran his institute. We learned it right from the horse's mouth, from the boys. They told everything about him and the school. We learned to love him and respect him. We have something in our home what is very dear to me, a Hungarian coat of arms. It's a nice art of work, and I would like to ask Dr. Bank to accept this from the Sanadi family. With St. Stephen's crown on the top.
As most of you know, in your invitation you were asked if you wanted to write something. We're preparing a book for Dr. Banks. Jean Hart will present that book to Dr. Banks. Jean Hart.
Dr. Banks, in the manner of that one-time TV personality, this is your life. But actually, we couldn't go that far back to your birth in Columbus, Ohio. So we did ask Linda Guzzo, and Lynn Wunsch to assemble a book of memories for you. From June 30th, 1967, Capital West Community College, 34 Sequoia Street, and all that you began then and continued through the years. And to this very day, in this choice building, which is Dr. Banks, one of his finest accomplishments, getting this building for us. And so it is that all of us here, whether we began with Dr. Banks in 1967 or joined him since, we want to say to you, thank you, vaya con Dios, and the best is yet to be for you and for Bertha.
About a couple of years ago, we had a faculty member who was exhibiting some rather bizarre behavior at Greater Hartford Community College. And the union, the collective bargaining agreement, the union got involved, and the union president said to me, you know, if you have a faculty who's behaving like that, you have a real, true college, because every college faculty should have a bizarre faculty member. I thought about that for a while, and every college should also have a secret society. And we at Greater Hartford Community College do have a secret society that very few people know about. It is called the Moles Society. And the Moles would like to present a gift to Dr. Banks at this time. John Larkin.
Thank you, Dean. Those of us that have had the pleasure to be associated with Dr. Banks since this building became Greater Hartford's home in 1974 will remember in the early years that the Hartford Police Department occupied some space here in our basement, and Sergeant Kelly and his crew had offices and rooms down underneath the auditorium. Of course, our maintenance department has always been located down in the basement, and in those years, it became affectionately known as Moleville. And the Moles used to have an annual Christmas party and usually an annual spring affair. And on those occasions, after great deliberation and much thought, they would present a limited number, in fact, a very, very limited number of awards to deans and faculty members. And the most coveted of these awards, of course, was the official mole hat. This entitled the owner of the hat to full privileges in Moleville. They had complete police protection from such things as water buckets dropping on their heads when they opened doors, or firecrackers rolled under your door, or maybe snowballs coming around the corners in the winter. And in 1977, Dr. Banks was presented with his official mole hat as Supreme Mole. And this entitled anyone who had these mole hats, of course, to knock on a door, get a cup of coffee, and even view the seasonal art collections that might be available. So, on the occasion of his retirement, we have updated Dr. Banks's official mole hat. I would like to present him his hat now as Molus Emeritus.
The Mayor of Hartford, Thurman Miller, has arrived and would like to extend the greetings of the City of Hartford to Dr. Banks on this festive occasion. The Honorable Mayor, Thurman Miller.
Thank you very much. It's my honor to be here. I understand that the Deputy Mayor and other members of our council were here earlier to officially thank you, so I'm here to thank your family for allowing you to give to the City of Hartford the type of service and dedication that you have given for many, many years. Every time I see Dr. Banks, I tell him he's not retiring. He keeps saying he is, and he's going to disappear, and I'm going to see that he doesn't. We're going to keep his family here, his son here, so we make sure we pull on him and keep him busy here in our city. He's a young man to be retiring. When I think about him retiring, I begin to look in the mirror at myself and wonder what's going on. But I am here to thank him personally for his many, many contributions, not just to this great school here, but to the greater Hartford community. A few weeks ago, he was at one of our budget hearings talking on behalf of the public library, of which he serves as one of the top and most influential board members. So he's not really getting out of everything that he's doing for the Hartford and the greater Hartford area. I do want to thank him and commend him for the tremendous strides that have been made here at Greater Hartford Community College. When I served in the General Assembly, I was sort of concerned and worried about what was happening here at a school that was right in the middle of our community, and I did not see that much going on as far as reaching out into the community. But I must say Dr. Banks has turned that whole thing around. I come here for many, many programs. I talk to many, many students that attend school here, and I'm proud of the strides that have been made under his leadership. And I hope that this is the beginning of good things for Hartford, for Greater Hartford Community College. And he must be commended, because I'm quite sure it's not easy sitting where he sits and having to listen to all of his boards and his board members, many who don't live in the city of Hartford, and also from all those in higher education who don't appreciate what happens at community colleges. All attention is usually given to the University of Hartford or the University of Connecticut, but our community colleges to our cities are vital. They're very important. They are our Harvards and our Princetons and our Yales. They are the places that give our youngsters an opportunity to reach some of those goals that they're looking forward to. So I'm just here to say to you, Dr. Banks, thank you very much for your continuous efforts. As I said before, we're not going to let you quite retire, although you may be leaving this present position. But on behalf of the residents of the city of Hartford and our Court of Common Council, most of who are in a housing committee meeting, so they're not here. In fact, two that were here have gone back to City Hall. We're also at the end of that budget. And I think thanks to Dr. Banks, we were generous as we could possibly be to the library and also to this fine institution. He has fought very hard on behalf of both, and I'm quite sure his words of wisdom to the council and to myself have paid off for the greater Hartford area. So I'd like to present to him an official citation in recognition of his retirement after 18 years of service and leadership to the city of Hartford. As the founding president of Greater Hartford Community College, on behalf of the residents of our city and myself, I commend you for your efforts to continuing education for all of the people of the Greater Hartford area. Dr. Banks is just a small token out of all the gifts you're receiving, but we really appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Finally, a gift from everybody here, from the family of Greater Hartford Community College and all of Arthur's friends. Austin Hirschberger, would you please come forward?
A poem for Dr. Banks. There is a young man named Banks who rapidly rose through the ranks. To the north he came, the wilderness to tame, and for this we must all give our thanks. The place, it was dismal and dark. The place indeed was most dank. The pipes they did rattle, the trucks gave us battle, yet he built an excellent think tank. He searched far and wide for perfection. In his wisdom he found a direction. From Sequoias he strode to a brand new abode, and for this we owe him affection. Like a knight of King Arthur he rode, and challenged the phoenix, it rose. He filled it with scholars, many students with few dollars, and quality was the essence of the abode. No music for him would be horrible. To sit in still quiet is deplorable. To ensure no such state, and to keep up to date, this box, we hope, will be memorable. Dr. Banks, this is from your college family, your friends who are here with you here today, and those who could not be here. We hope it will give you many years of pleasure.
Can you open it up? Can you open it?
A compact disc player. NAD. My grandchildren are here. I like to say, don't touch it.
Dr. Banks,
Thank you.
I've kept it to an hour. I know you didn't want a long day. I want to say for myself that it's been a sad day for me in many respects because things we started together 18 years ago are now coming to an end. But every morning as I sat with you and we had coffee, you would say to me that Walter, in victory, and there's defeat, you can snatch victory, in every cloud there's a silver lining. I thought about something that should be happy about this day. And as I thought about it, I said, you know, 18 years together has been a long, long time. Too long, probably. And in the last few years, people have been confusing us one for the other. And I'm tired of telling people I'm the short one. Dr. Banks.
I like to ease my wife's apprehensions. When she saw the clouds over a few moments ago, she said, don't let your last order here be, forget the food, but take the whiskey inside. And speaking about my wife, I'd like to thank her, especially, for putting me up and putting up with me these happy years. And from the very beginning, she not only put me up and put up with me, she brought me great gifts. The gifts in my son and his wife, Mr. and Mrs. Brown. The gift in another daughter, Mrs. Daniels. But the biggest gifts were the girls that they surrounded me with, the grandchildren. And the boy, where is he? There is Belinda, there is Kimberly and Kelly and Karen. Together, they have helped me. They provided me a nice life so I could come here and do the best I could. So I guess there's nothing more for me to say except on this last time with you to make some confessions. Is Elisha Freeman here or the governor? Well, I want to just publicly tell the governor that I did not burn his state car up. I put the match in, and Walter was driving in a swerve, and suddenly the car was aflame. I want to also dispel the notion every place I go, I think that the party is given for me. Waitresses and waiters do not serve me extra drinks or extra portions. I like to also tell you it is not true that I lose my temper. My vocabulary is exceedingly proper and smooth. And Andy, I never lost any memos from the board. Other people did that. Other people did that. And I want to correct something else. I did go to church twice in 18 years. I never provoked my faculty or my administration. But I guess my only single sin and bitter state graft is when the maintenance people under John Larkin did sharpen my lawnmower blades, but that's all. And to Walt and Carolyn, I did not try to pry out of people any details about this affair. And I keep secrets. I don't let anything out. I keep my mouth shut. And to Mrs. Gabaribo's daughter, where is Gabaribo? Is she here? I like to confess, and I like you to tell your daughter that I lied. I cannot go at certain times of day and move into the room on the other side of the mirror. She didn't believe me anyhow, but I thought I would like to confess just that. And I like to confess something else. This occasion, in this experience, has been the most beautiful thing in my life. I couldn't have done it by myself, and I'm pleased that you went the road with me. And like a fast skipper, I can say Let's go into port. And as the naval people say, secure from general quarters. Thank you. I appreciate your clapping, but I've only had one drink, please.
I think that says it all. Let's enjoy. Let's keep going until everything's gone. Thank you all for coming.